Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me here today on this video. We are in the kitchen and we're going to get cooking. So this is the cheesy melt in the middle burger. So I'm going to follow the bulk of the recipe, but I do have a slight twist to it. So stay watching. Okay, so we're going to get going. I'm going to follow the recipe as per the instructions, minus the potatoes. I do have some baby potatoes that I'm going to be using for this recipe, but I'm going to come back and tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. But we're going to get going with the bulk of this recipe. So we're going to need a bowl, and as part of the pack you get your minced beef. Okay, it's 15% fat. You can always swap that out to 5%. Okay, so in here I'm going to break this up a little bit because it's all quite solid. So I'm going to break that up just a little bit. Now I have had HelloFresh in the past, and I just think they're fantastic. If you want quick, easy, convenient meals, whereby you're not going to get waste, I just think it's fantastic. Now, when I got my delivery box, they did have some codes, but they were all out of date. I know. So, unfortunately, I don't have a code to give you. I'm really sorry about that. I would have loved to have had a code, but I just don't. Okay, so we've got our mince, and what we're going to do now is it comes with some breadcrumbs. So I'm going to use the breadcrumbs here. Whenever I've used burgers before, I have used panko breadcrumbs, but whatever breadcrumbs you have will be absolutely fine. And then along with the recipe box has come some garlic. Now, if you like garlic like me, use the lot. I've just chopped the whole bulb of garlic and I'm going to use this. But if you're not keen on garlic, just put maybe 1 or 2 cloves. That'll be absolutely fine. And then what we're going to do, we're going to season it. We're going to season it with some salt and pepper. So I've got my pepper here, and I'm going to add about just a little pinch, maybe about 1/4 teaspoon. It's always better to add less, because then before you serve you could sprinkle a little bit more on, but if you add too much you can't take it away. So I'm then going to add in some salt, and again about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I do like my burgers with flavour, lots of flavour, so I'm going to add in 2 extra ingredients. Now these don't come as part of the recipe, but you know me, if you've seen me cooking before guys, I like to mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to add in a little bit of paprika, about 1 teaspoon of paprika is going to go in, and because I like my food with a little bit of heat, I'm going to put in just maybe about 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes. So all of that is mixed in. And now we've got 2 more ingredients to add in from the HelloFresh pack, and that is our sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to squeeze this all in, and that's what I absolutely love about HelloFresh, is that there's no waste. Everything comes with your recipe. Yeah, and I chose the recipe pack for 2 people, so this is going to serve 2. So in here what we've got is we have our mince, we have the chopped garlic, we have our breadcrumbs, we've got the sun-dried tomatoes, we've got salt and pepper and a little extra seasoning. Okay, so my hands are all nice and clean, and I'm going to dive straight in and form this, and also create my patties. So this is going to be such a flavoursome burger, And the great thing about this is you can freeze them as well. So you could probably make them whilst you're doing your food prep and then freeze them. So here we go, all mixed together into a nice ball. So I'm gonna pop that back in there for a minute and I'm gonna cleanse my hands. So my hands are nice and clean now. So I'm gonna pop this to one side and now we're gonna chop our cheese, because remember we're making cheeseburgers, and we're just going to open this. So it comes with 2 pieces of cheese because we're making 2 burgers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice them into nice chunks or pieces. So just slices like that, not too thick, not too thin. And the other piece, I'm going to just take a little extra off this for the inside of my burger. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these now. So we're going to get our mince and I'm going to cut it in half. So we now got enough for 2 burgers. Okay, and the first half I'm just rolling in my hands, okay, and then I'm just going to divide it again. So the first piece I'm going to flatten out, that's so. In fact, I need a little bit more. It'd be good to get equal sizes. There we go. So rolling it in my hands, and now I'm going to flatten that out, that's so. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a piece of my cheese, and I'm just going, and that's why it's really good to cut them quite thin, so they sit in really, really nicely. So that sits in nicely like that. And then the other piece of my burger, just going to roll like so. Flatten that out, and what I want to do now is lay it on top so it's almost like a sandwich. So I'm laying it on top like so, and now I'm just going to form the 2 pieces together. So there you can see it's all nicely formed together. I'm going to press them down. And if you've got a burger press, this would be absolutely fantastic. It really would be. But we haven't, so we're going to do our best. And there we go. That is one of my patties formed. Now you do need a baking tray. You can put these in the air fryer if you wanted to, of course. But I am going to put them in the oven because I am using the air fryer for something else. So I'm going to put that there now. So these are ready to go into the oven. They can go in for 12 to 15 minutes depending on your particular oven. So one last thing I like to do is just spritz them with a little bit of oil. It just stops them from drying out, stops them from burning. So when I take them out and turn them over, I will spritz the other side too. So I'm going to pop them in the oven now. I'm using a fan oven, so it's going to be 180, but gas mark 5 for you if you're using gas. So I'm going to pop them in, and then we're going to come back and check them. Okay, so whilst that's cooking, then I'm going to move on to my potatoes, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing with my potatoes. So guys, in HelloFresh fashion, they did send me some potatoes, but I'm going to use these for something else. There are 4 potatoes in here, so enough for 2, and this is to make wedges. However, I did have some potatoes, some new baby potatoes that I had that I needed to use up, so that's what I'm using with this recipe. So I'll just show you what I've got here. So I parboiled my potatoes. Just gave them a good wash, gave them a good wash, dropped them in some salt water, boiling salt water, and I parboiled them for like 10 minutes. Then I let them cool and then I seasoned them up. So I seasoned them with salt and pepper, a little pinch of paprika and a little pinch of chili flakes, and also some mixed herbs. And then I coated them in a teaspoon of oil. And I do have some here that I had cooked in the air fryer, and they've come out lovely. Oh my days, they are so tasty, absolutely delicious. But these ones I'm going to put in the oven with my burgers, because the oven's on, just saving energy. So I'm just taking my burgers out, and I'm just going to very quickly drop my potatoes straight in there. And I've got some oil in the bottom because I did add in some oil, and I'm going to drizzle some of this oil over my burgers as well. And that's all going to crisp up and be super, super, super delicious. There we go, just coated the top of these with the oil. So it's all going to go back in the oven now. Okay. Now I'm going to have one of these. Way better than chips. Oh, so good. So good. And when I use these potatoes from Hello Fresh, I'll do the same thing. Parboil them, turn them into wedges and season them up. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm going to come back when the burgers are done. I'll show you what I'm going to do next. So we're back. So you can see that my burgers are beautifully cooked. I'm going to take them off the tray, and I'm going to just pop the potatoes back in for another couple of minutes so that they can finish off. Okay, so my burgers are done. You can see the cheese is just oozing out of them. So you know that they're cooked when you break it and there's no pink. If it's pink, it needs to cook a bit longer, but these are beautifully done. So with the Hello Fresh recipe, you are sent 2 burger buns, but I use the burger buns for something else, because I have had this box like nearly 2 weeks and the buns would have been going off. But I'm going to show you something slightly different. Instead of burger buns, we're going to use wraps. I'm going to do a burger wrap. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my wrap, and with one of my burgers, well, with both of the burgers, I'm just going to break it up just slightly. Just break it up just a bit so it flattens it a little bit. And that one is now going to go on my wrap, like so. So I'm going to do one and show you, and then we can come back and do the other. So that is just nicely flattened. The inside of the burger is beautifully cooked, and you've got that cheese running through it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is get some more cheese, the leftover cheese, and I'm going to slice that and pop it on the top. So it's going to be really cheesy. Now if you need more cheese, then feel free to add more. And I think I'm going to need maybe just a little bit more cheese than what was provided here. I might do, might not, but might do. But I've got some cheddar in the fridge. But you know, to make it go further, you could grate the cheese. You could use mozzarella, anything like that. Or I think it might just stretch. So we've got it flattened out like that. Cheese is laid on top. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wrap it up. So I'm going to fold it up from the end, from the bottom, and then I'm going to fold it across and just create a beautiful wrap. Get that cheese inside. Let's do it this way. And there we go. Got a burger wrap. And then what I'm going to do, I'm gonna just hold it with a cocktail stick. It's gonna fall apart, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with this. So, just gonna hold it with cocktail stick, just so it doesn't fall apart. Okay, that's lovely. And then with the second one, we're going to do exactly the same. So instead of burger buns, we're doing wraps. So again, I'm just going to break that burger up a little bit. And this is lovely because you've got all that melted cheese running through it. And I did have a little taste earlier. Oh my days, tastes delicious, absolutely scrummy, the burger. So again, I think I've just about got enough cheese. So well done, HelloFresh, for getting the measurements spot on, spot on. So again, I'm just going to go from the bottom to encase it. I'm going to fold it over one way and wrap it the other way. Beautiful. And then get my cocktail stick and just pin it down. And there we go. And there we go. 2 wraps. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to seal these wraps. I'm going to seal them. So I'm going to get a little bit of oil and pop it in my pan. So I'm using my little oil bottle, and this was from Temu, and I'm just going to brush my pan just with a little bit of oil, just literally taking it around the edge, and I'm going to seal this. And I'm going to have one tonight for my dinner, and I'm going to have the other for lunch tomorrow. Yeah. So when the pan is nice and hot, then I can just seal it. It's just going to give the wrap a lovely coating and just going to melt that cheese down a little bit more. You could potentially pop all of this back in the oven to seal the cheese, but what I want is for the cheese to melt. You could also put it in the air fryer, so that's another thing to do. So I'm just going to pop it in straight in my pan. I'm going to pop both of them straight in. There's enough room for 2. And it's going to give the wrap a beautiful, beautiful colour on the top of it. So I did use the burger buns. I took them to work the one day and I made, I think it was an egg mayo sandwich with, and I also used the rocket. It came with pea shoots, and I used the pea shoot and the bread with some egg mayo. So, because I didn't want it to go off because I wasn't quite ready to make these. So I thought as an alternative, I will just mix it up a little bit. So, you know, these HelloFresh recipes are superb. They really, really are. But you don't have to stick to exactly what it is that's on the recipe. You could take those ingredients and mix it up and make it suit you and your family. So I got a feeling this is going to become a really, really tasty and maybe one of my top recipes from HelloFresh. Yeah, really, really enjoyed making this. So I'm just letting this just warm through, and as it's warming through, oh, look at that, look at the bottom of that, isn't that lovely? The cheese is going to melt, and I'm just going to turn it on the other side. Just turn that, make sure it's turned down. Just going to turn it on the other side and let that, and I'm keeping the sticks in as well because I don't want the all the ingredients to fall out. Oh, I can hear the cheese melting. If you've got something like the George Foreman grill, this would be, or a panini maker, this would be beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that delicious? And so I'm just taking them both out. Now I'm taking out my potatoes. Oh my days, they're just sizzling and they look and smell amazing. And I'm gonna just take, they're hot, but that's fine. I'm just gonna take a couple, pop on my plate. And I don't have any salad. I didn't get to go to the shops today, but if I did, I would be having salad on this plate. And then the last thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of this glaze. This is balsamic glaze. I'm going to just drizzle, in fact, I'm just going to pop it on the side and drizzle a little bit over the potatoes. Yeah, there we go. So here we are, guys. This is my version of the HelloFresh cheesy melt in the middle burger, but done as a wrap and with new baby potatoes. If you do decide to make your own version of this, I would love to know, and feel free to tag me, leave a comment on this video, or nip over to Facebook or Instagram and let me know. I'd love to know how you get on. So guys, that is it from me today. Thank you so much for being here with me. If this is the sort of thing you like, then feel free to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. And yeah, I look forward to having you as part of our community. And when you hit that notification bell, you will also know when I upload the video to show you how to make this. Okay guys, that is it from me. I'm going to tuck into this. I can't wait. And I will see you very, very soon. Take care now. Bye bye.